So, if you clicked on this video without having seen the one I'm gonna talk about, aside from suggesting you watch it, let me give you the context. That video was supposed to be the first of a 2 or 3 episode series playing the famous mod Better Than Wolves, with the add-on called Refamished, which completely changes the progression of the mod with new materials, tools, way to progress, skills, and machines. Now, why did I end up scrapping the series despite the run being basically perfect and having already reached the halfway point in the mod? That's because of two main reasons. The first is because the add-on is actually incomplete. The content that has been added so far is divided roughly in 80 and 20%, with the 80% being the early and mid game, while the remaining 20 being the late to end game. And that's why in the future, when the add-on is completed, I'm likely gonna pick it up again once more to complete it. For clarity, when I say I got to the halfway mark of the game, I'm talking about getting up to the Nether and therefore the Crucible, as the Crucible allows you to melt your tools, transforming your mob farm into an iron farm and making your diamond tools give back 100% of the diamonds used to make them, effectively giving them endless durability. Now, had the first reason been the only one, I could have moved past it and still ended the run. Instead, I scrapped the whole series, with currently no intention of playing Better Than Wolves again, which I want to rant about in this video. To preface, I'm in no way an expert of either Minecraft or Better Than Wolves, but I have played for a few hundred hours in this mod, and I have developed my opinions, so now you get to hear them, keeping in mind that they are my opinions and not facts. So, the second and biggest reason for me scrapping the whole series was for the vanilla Better Than Wolves late game, the Age of Trade as the wiki calls it. This entire stage of the game requires you to get villagers from villages and start grinding many different materials necessary to trade with them, with the objective of getting Eyes of Ender from trading with the librarian and then going on to slay the dragon herself. The kind of items they require vary a lot, from redstone components to mob drops to farm produce. You're essentially required to set up a farm of almost every crop, a mob farm for normal mobs, one for witches, one for squids and one for jungle spiders, unless you prefer gambling on a diamond sword with looting and hunting them on your own. And before all of that, you also need to explore the world to find at least a few villages to get wheat, potatoes and carrots, because there is no other way to get them, and what crop a village will have relies solely on RNG, and for reference, in my first vanilla Better Than Wolves run, it took me 20 hours of exploring villages just to find potatoes. Villages are also necessary for the bookshelves required for a full enchanting table, which requires 30 instead of 15, and they also can only be found in villages. This is pure RNG. Aside from that, you'll need to find 2 jungle temples, 2 pyramids and 2 witch huts, because you're gonna need 2 of each of the special blocks they provide. One to use yourself, and one to trade with the villagers to make them level up. This kind of trade is used to level up a villager, and it's not RNG, unlike every other trade they have. And you could be asking yourself, what's the problem with exploring Minecraft of all games? This game is a sandbox where you're meant to explore the world and build a lot, is it not? 1.6.4. 1.6.4 is the problem with exploring. The biggest change by far in 1.7, and the reason it's called the Adventure Update, is its change to the world generation, going from making land masses into massive islands to making seas into massive lakes instead. In the 20 hours I spent looking for potatoes, I used nether travel to go faster, but somehow I managed to open 15 to 20 nether portals in a row that got me either on top of an ocean or in a cave system, which means I was under an ocean. And aside from the massive oceans, finding a snowy taiga in 1.6.4 also means finding a biome that's gonna stretch for thousands of blocks in most directions, basically making exploring them impossible. And add to that the fact that Better Than Wolves already heavily disincentivizes exploring thanks to the immense hunger consumption granted by jumping and running, making the oceans off limits at night due to squids, and then disabling horses, then making you work slower in deserts, have swamps have witches which are probably the most dangerous mob in the whole game, followed by jungle spiders which are unavoidable when you're in the thick of a jungle. And you might start to get an idea of why I think it sucks to explore so much. Now, you've explored the world and set up the necessary farms, but wait, you have to set up your base in the spawn chunks, because those are the only chunks that are always loaded, which means mob spawning there will reduce the amount spawning in your farms, and it also means that it's the only place where your farms will keep running when you're out exploring for tens of hours. So I hope you didn't stray too far from the spawn chunks in the early game, you know, when you're supposed to travel a lot to gather food because animals don't respawn, otherwise you're gonna have a really rough time in the end game with your farm efficiency. And now it's time to trade, but again it's all RNG. There's no saying how many trades it'll take you to get an XP trade from a villager, nor what kind of material they'll ask you, which could be the same one 10 times in a row or just avoiding a specific one forever. And in my experience, I once traded 6 or 7 times in a row without getting a single XP plus trade, so the chances of that are not zero. So, to sum up the point I want to make in this short video, the Age of Trade is a compilation of tons of hours of exploring alongside tons of hours of farm building alongside tons of hours of grinding, with the exploration part being all RNG, and then managing all of that alongside the RNG of trading. And going back to the title of the video, the real reason I scrapped this series was because I remembered this experience in my Refamished playthrough, which made me recall out of the entire run. I even went as far as considering cheating to get through it because I wanted to complete the series, but in the end decided it was much better to just leave. And to clarify, I don't mind grinding in games, or hard games in general. The early and mid game of Better Than Wolves are just as grindy, but it's a grind that respects your time and decisions. You pay for your mistakes and get rewarded for taking risks or being smart with what you're given. The late game is just like getting a quest called Farm the World to reach the Ender Dragon, and then grinding hundreds of hours to get the Eyes of Ender. And that's why the first episode of my Refamished playthrough is gonna be the only one, and it's probably gonna stay that way for a long time. To close off, I just want to remind you that these are my opinions and not facts, and that your experience playing Better Than Wolves is most likely gonna be much different from mine. I just wanted to make this video to explain to those that saw the first episode why there isn't gonna be a second one, since I only explained this in a post on my YouTube channel, which only subscribers can see, as far as I know. So hopefully this video can reach them too. Let me know if you share my opinion or not, and I hope we can have a constructive talk in the comments. Also, sorry if I didn't manage to get my point across precisely and concisely. This is my first scripted video and I tried my best. I thank you for watching up to here, and remember to check the original video, as well as my other series on another mod pack which I actually completed. And if you'd like to see more of my content, make sure to leave a like, a comment and subscribe. Until next time, see ya.